Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. The Five Fingers to the Face podcast proudly presents to you another amazing guest. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, just incredible is joining us tonight. Sir, thank you for joining us. Much appreciated.
Oh, thank you for having me, man. It's awesome.
Yep. Glad to have you. Before we get started, I'm going to say a couple things for our sponsors real quick, and I'm actually going to do things a little different today. So first and foremost, if you are in need of a 3D printed chain, you should go see Lotwin. I know at least a handful of guys on this podcast already have theirs. I will be investing in mine soon. If you use the code TCPOD, you get 10% off, and they won't make you spell their name. Promise. Unless you bring Mike Randler, then they will. So, Lotwin, 3D printed chain. Also, I see you laughing, Cody, but if you were in need of a haircut, you know where you would need to go in the Lancaster, PA area?
I do. It's a Sparrow.
Sparrow. Great job.
Yep.
Cody practice. And who would you go see? Bonus question.
Lean.
Lean. Almost.
Lean.
But we'll edit that. It's fine. Don't worry about
I got it.
Content manager, you got this. And he's here tonight, too, so he can yell at you on screen. Even better. So, if you're in need of a haircut, go see Lean. Sparrow Hair Studio. All right, boys, we ready?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
We have a very special guest tonight. I'm very excited to start asking some questions, but you know I like to talk. I'm going to defer to you boys first, so I'm going to let you ask our guest some questions. Gentlemen, if you will, please.
You want to go first, Patty?
No, if you got something in the chamber, go for it.
All right. So I've been thinking, do you have any like crazy, since the stint in ECW, any like crazy Paul Heyman stories, or is
I mean, there's definitely crazy stories. I mean, there were times where like his checks bounced and he would send me over to his mother's house to pick up cash in Scarsdale, New York, because I'm it's all tri-state kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, but it wasn't as bad. I know like a lot of people shit on it, and I'm sorry about the language, but with Paul, but Paul wasn't a bad guy. He was just stuck in a situation, I think, where he was just trying to appease everyone, and he really didn't do me very much wrong. Like I always got paid, so like my checks bounced, but he made good on them. So but yeah, that was one of them, I could say.
Is that
That's
because
awesome.
you knew you could beat up his mom too if they didn't pay? Or?
No, she was probably would kill me. Anybody, dude, I'm not a tough guy at all. Oh my God. I can't stop this.
Camera.
But anyways, I could not stop Mr. Heyman's mom for sure. She was a tough lady, a good lady too. They were good people, very good people.
awesome? That's now
Patty,
now
producer?
I give it to Patty.
All right, mine would be this. If you could take one wrestler, could be now, could be whatever, a move that you saw as a finisher, and you could go back 30 years in a time machine, what other finisher would you steal from somebody to be like, that's awesome, and I'm taking it for mine?
Wow, that's a great question, actually. I would say, like, Steve Austin had it right, and I'll explain why. Randy Orton has it right. Cutters, stunners, stuff like that is, you want to be able to hit anybody, regardless if they're 400 pounds or if they're 200 pounds, right? And those are the kind of moves, like, they're quick. Like, I had the tombstone, the spinning tombstone, which was cool, but it kind of happened by accident. I was wrestling Jerry Lynn in both of our debuts at the ECW arena, and it was just like a high spot. And it wasn't even the finish of the match, but Paul Heyman wanted it to, like, that should be your finish, the tombstone. But you gotta, again, to do the tombstone, you gotta pick someone up. If they're a big dude like Big Show, you're not gonna pick, you know what I mean? So you want something that's quick, fast, and you could hit anybody with. So I would say an RKO or a stunner
Awesome.
would definitely be the kind of thing, or something like that, a variant of it, for sure.
Awesome. Yeah. So one of the questions I wanted to ask was, you've been through a few different eras, a few different federations. What are you loving right now that's going on with the sport?
Oh, that's another good question. And
why? because of your
No,
deep
I
connection.
know, and it does get hard because you have that thing where like it's hard to be objective because like you're in it, and I'm 51 years old. It's like I'm not that far removed, so it's like, well, you could call this and that. Um, I don't know, man. I thought what AEW was doing for a long time was very cool, very innovative, but they lost me. They lost me on I just it was so like a niche kind of thing, like it's just something I wasn't familiar with, like because I love wrestling and stuff, and this is my business, but like I don't watch wrestling nonstop. Like I'll put on something like once a week if I'm lucky. Like I don't watch the programs all the time. Like I'm connected, but not all the time. And so I just think that AEW missed the boat with what they could have done because for a while they were very, very, they had an opportunity to really make some noise. So I mean, again, I just go to like guys like Gunther right now. I love what he's doing. And again, and this is gonna sound real cheesy, but he's my friend and I really love him and I love his family. I love the old man. Cody's doing because Dusty was one of my guys. I knew Dusty and worked with Dusty in ECW in the 2000s. So, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. I know it's not an exciting answer, but that's kind of where it is.
No, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm a big Cody fan as well. I like
Yeah,
what
I
he's
just,
doing.
he's just bringing, I get it. It's real easy when you're making millions of dollars to be that guy, but you can't hate on it, right? That's
No.
kind of what you work for. The whole, your whole gig is working for that. So can't hate on it.
Was there? Do you guys mind if I go for another one?
No, go for it,
Have at
Steve.
it. Boom, boom.
There's often been celebrities that come in and out for one reason or another, through the sport over the years. Has there? And I often felt usually it was lackluster or corny, for lack of better words, and stupid half the time.
Right.
But like, was there anybody that came in outside that you thought actually helped the brand or the product, or like actually did
Well,
a good job of like with the collaboration?
again, you guys got great questions. This is going to really date me, but I thought Lawrence Taylor, believe it or not, because I was there on the ground floor before WWE did the gimmick with him. I was there as PJ Walker and then Aldo and all that stuff. So I was there and the boost he had, and he took it real serious, and Bam Bam was one of my close friends. The work they did, I thought it was just that was a great collaboration at the time because wrestling was still kind of like, looked down upon, not where it is today, right? Like today, WWE, you got Logan Paul and all these other celebrities doing wrestling, and it's cool. But back then, it really wasn't cool. It was kind of like a niche like thing. So I thought the Lawrence Taylor thing with the WWE at WrestleMania in Hartford, again, Connecticut, where I'm from, I was a part of that. It was. I thought it was special, and I thought it helped at that moment, at least.
Oh.
One of my favorites was the Mike Tyson when he came
Yeah,
in.
that too. Yeah,
I-
that too. WrestleMania 13.
Yeah,
Dude,
that
I could
was
tell
a
you a
good
story
one.
about WrestleMania 13.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
Oh, me and HBK, because he didn't. You have no idea, bro. You have no idea.
You heard it first.
I want to forget about these things. And please don't I'm gonna get in trouble now. Jesus, why do I open my mouth?
This is why
But
we have a
yeah,
content manager. It's okay.
but this is where we were. Like he wasn't. If I remember correctly, he wasn't working because he had the back injury after WrestleMania 12. He had the title run and all that. And it was WrestleMania 13. And we were in Chicago, and there was a strip club that all the wrestlers went to, and it was literally like factory. And we were just, and I still have picture. If you go to my Facebook, and I don't use Facebook, I know it's like an outdated gimmick, but there's somewhere of a picture of me and Sean doing the gimmick, like out of our minds. WrestleMania 13, like in Blazers, 1990s gear, doing the deal, like just up and just it was what it was, dude.
Well, if this
Don't
doesn't
get
make
me
it
in
on the
trouble. Don't get me
episode,
in trouble for this,
no,
please. I know you
you're
will.
good. If this doesn't make the air publicly, it'll be on
This
the Patreon.
will make
so
the air. I
it's
know what I
going
just
somewhere.
did. That's all right. Nobody likes me anyways. I don't get booked, so it don't matter.
Hey man, we're not out to like cloud chase or anything.
No, I know.
Oh,
I'm
no.
just I'm effing
Yeah,
around.
you know,
And
Oh,
I
man.
think I read, or I'm pretty
you're
sure.
keeping me busy tonight. That's for sure.
Did you wrestle CM Punk in his debut in ECW?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was that? And did you think he would blow up as what he is today whenever you wrestled him then?
It was 2006 at the Hammerstein Ballroom for the fake ECW reunion gimmick that they did, and I thought he was amazing. I thought he was great. We had a hell of a match. If you go back and really actually watch it, it's a really solid match. Where it was like back and forth, so I'm very proud of that. So but I didn't. You can never tell, dude. People could lie and say, "Oh yeah, I saw the great." You know what I mean? It's like you don't know what's. He was very good. He was very talented. I didn't know anything about him at the time, but it was a kind soul. And I remember this. This is what I do remember. He was dating Maria Kanellis. I don't know if you know her.
I don't.
Maria from WWE. Maria Kanellis.
Mm.
It's not ringing a bell for me.
Oh my God,
But
she was like a diva, whatever. Anyways, he was dating her, and like he came up to me and they were both like in tears, like thank you so much for being allowing us to do this. And they were both from Ring of Honor, I guess. But he was very cool. He was very very kind, and I loved it. I loved working with him. I haven't seen him since, but that experience I had with him was super cool.
That's awesome. Piggybacking off of that, is there a wrestler that you can think of, in your career that doesn't get enough credit in the public eye? Like somebody that you worked with and you're like, wow, this guy's great, but necessarily didn't get like the biggest pop or, a huge title run or anything like that?
Oh, that's a great question too.
Doink.
Damn. Maybe. No. God, that's a loaded question. I mean, I really have to think. Nothing. I don't want to give you an empty answer. Nothing comes to mind. I will tell you one thing, and this is, I know you guys you're going to shit on, excuse me, you're going to not like this answer because you probably won't even understand it. But there was a guy who had a couple of dark matches. He worked for WWE for a long time, never got the press, and he was actually one of the fake doinks for a long time. His name was Tony DeVito. He worked in ECW as one of the Baldies. He had like a title run in the 2000s of ECW, and he's the one guy I'm just spitballing right now, trying to think. He was one of the guys that I thought should have got a run. But again, I digress. I know it's not doing what you want me to do, but it was it's one of the guys I loved, and still is one of my best friends, and I thought was amazing, and should have got a run.
No, that's perfect. Don't feel like you got to give us these big time answers. Like,
no, I know, but I'm trying to produce here. I'm trying to produce.
Can I piggyback off the piggyback? I want to ask you your opinion. So this is a debate or a conversation I've had with a couple of people recently. What are your thoughts on ICP and possibly being inducted into the Wrestling Hall of Fame, considering that they wrestled in ECW, WCW, WWE, and they have their own wrestling league as well?
I'm not against it, of course. I mean, look, I like those guys. They were always very kind to me. I worked on some of the ICP guys toward like what do they call that shit? The Gathering. I worked on some of the gatherings. They're cool dudes. I don't have a problem with that. It's all subjective. And I think they've done enough good for the business that sure, why not?
Right.
You know,
Yep.
they're good guys, dude. They work real hard and they love the business, and that's what's right about wrestling is guys that love it.
Yep.
So absolutely, why not?
Whoop whoop. I like it.
Yeah,
Whoop, whoop.
absolutely, dude. Absolutely, dude.
So,
I know
100%.
nothing can beat, like the Attitude Era, but do you think Triple H is, making the brand bigger than it has been in the last couple years of the McMahon era? Do you think Triple H is taking it over and actually taking it to a new height? Or do you like the product he's producing?
Um, I'm I hate to say this, and I know I'm gonna probably get some flack for it, but I'm a Vince guy. Vince gave me my start. I mean,
Yep.
I remember going to the office when I was like 19 years old, and he gave me a meeting and he gave me an opportunity. So to me, I'm a Vince guy, and I know Hunter. I don't know. I don't know anymore. I traveled with him up and down the roads too. So but the time passes. You don't know where motivations are. I mean, money is the root of all evil, dude. But to me, I'm a Vince guy. I don't mind what Hunter is doing. The business is doing great. But to me, I would love to see Vince somehow back in the game. Yeah, it's just me.
Yep.
I know he's not perfect either, dude. I get it. But I'm a Vince McMahon guy.
Absolutely. I mean, he did a legendary run with the Attitude Era, before
Yeah,
that too. So,
again, it's just
you-
maybe it's just what I'm used to, but he gave me an opportunity when no one else would.
absolutely.
So
Awesome.
any good Vince stories? Favorite
not
Vince?
really. No, he never let you get too close,
Okay.
Oh,
But as a businessman, he was very good. Like listen, I remember one time, and this is a good story, and I don't think I've told this ever. So this is an exclusive for you guys. We were in Chicago, and I was out of my mind. Okay, and this is like 96, 97. Oh, let's just hear this out. This gets better. This gets better. And I was afraid because they were doing random. So I'm all paranoid. So I tell the agents like Tony Gurria and Rene Goulet, who are what they call producers today, but they were the agents back then. That's what we called them. And they were the guys in charge. And I told them, oh, my father had a heart. I lied. My father had a heart attack because I thought they were going to piss test us the next day. So I'm like, they flew me home, and I get home. I'm geeked. I crash. And I'm still living at my mother's house. I'm a kid. I'm like 21. I'm still a kid. And all of a sudden, my mother wakes me up. She's like, Pete. And she's Portuguese, so the accent. Pete, it's Vince. And it's Vince. It's legit Vince. And she's like, hey, pal, I heard your father had a heart attack. I'm sorry. Because I said that as the cover story that I had to go home off the road. And he's like, I'm sorry that happened. I lost my father too. I apologize. Anything you need from us, we're here. And I'm like, thank you.
God.
Bro, that's if that's not a shoot, that's a shoot. And but that's where my addict mind was. But that legit happened, dude. That's as real as it gets. I can't make that shit up, dog.
I'm guessing you didn't get caught if this is the first time you're telling it.
It's I told it, but I don't think on a podcast. You know what I mean? I don't think it matters anymore.
I think you're good.
Yeah,
He's not in charge.
yeah. I think I'm all right. But that was a shoot, dude. That was a legit shoot. And my mother and father are still alive, and they will attest to this.
That's
oh,
awesome.
that's great. Man, that's an awesome story.
I was just trying to I was scared. I was like all parent, like I don't want to get in trouble, right? So I was just trying to like geek my way out of it. Stupid.
Well, it
I
worked.
know. I get it.
It worked.
I have a
It
question.
I don't know if it did, but it worked for the minute.
I have a question. I'm curious. Seems of lately, Hulk Hogan seems to be getting a bad rap for multiple reasons from multiple people. What was like the honest, genuine feeling of him in the back room with all the guys through the years, was he looked at as like a hero or like somebody that was like iconic from the everyday guys? Like has his character been questioned always?
Not really. No, Hulk was always the guy who drew money, and I think everybody kind of um we're used to bowing down to him. Really, not bowing. I hate to say that, but just like he's Hulk. He's the guy that
Right.
draws the house. And rightfully, dude. Look, I don't know Hulk at all. Like I've met him a couple times. That's all I could say. And he was super cool. No, he was a super cool dude. But I don't know him as a human.
Gotcha.
But that's but I don't know. I think when you're that big of a deal, everybody gets super criticized. So it is what it is.
But did he have the general respect of the everyday wrestlers?
I don't even know, man.
Really?
I guess you kind of have to, right? If you're Hulk Hogan, you want a job, dude. You're gonna, it's Hulk.
You're gonna respect
right?
the Hulkster.
Kiss the ring.
You gotta respect the Hulkster.
Mhm.
I mean, really, you do, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
So whatever. It is what it is. I don't take it too seriously.
All right, Justin, I got one ready. You are, you're wrestling in ECW. You reach under the mat, and the one item that you're hoping to find underneath the apron is blank.
Ooh.
Wow. That's a really bad question. Nothing really. Can I take the match home early? Is there a pass where I could just take the match home early?
Sure, absolutely.
Like just go home? Is there a go home pass where
Absolutely.
I could just like lay
It's
on
right
my
next to the
back and
kendo
say
stick.
1, 2?
The go home pass is in between the kendo stick and the barbed wire 2x4.
I'll take I just want to go home and lose the match and go home to my wife and kids without getting killed. Oh, I'm sorry. I used the F-bomb. I'm so sorry. I'm a bad man.
It's okay.
Reverse it. Reverse
I
it.
didn't
Hold
mean
on. Reverse his question. You got your opponent is going under the ring and grabbing a weapon. What is the one where you were like, oh,
okay,
no,
that's a
not
good
again.
one. Those pans that like those real flimsy like pans that don't really hurt anybody.
Yep.
You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm.
Like those
Aluminum?
like
Cooking
the
pans?
aluminum
sheet.
gimmicks that don't those things, because kendo sticks really hurt actually, and I used to swing that stuff mercifully. Poor guys. But you gotta, when you're doing that, you're like, they say it to you too, it's like, gotta make it look good, dude. It's like, okay. Sorry. I would say, and the funny thing is, if you ever worked with me, I would say it to you before I did it. I'd look in your eyes and I'd be like, sorry. And I would kill you. And because I didn't want to, but you got to make, you know what I mean? It's like, you're doing business, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks. I don't like her. I'm all about being light, dude. I'm the lightest. One thing, and this one thing I'm most proud of, and I know I'm kind of ranting, but one thing I'm most proud of is you could ask any professional wrestler I've ever worked with. I've never hurt a single person. Ever. I've always been safe. I've always been respectful. You know what I mean? Because we're just trying to make it to the next town and make money for our families. So a lot of people don't believe in that. A lot of people just take advantage. I always believed in, let's just get each other, whether I like you or not, let's just get each other to the next show and make money together. That's the deal.
When I was in high school, you guys actually don't probably know this, but I did a lot of backyard wrestling. We had our own league. We recorded. We had scripts, characters. It was a thing every weekend, and we would have people from different schools show up. We were legit in our minds.
No, I get you. I did the same thing though
my
too.
buddy Jim, who kind of was the lead.
I did the same thing though too, bro. Before the internet,
I was going to say, like, is that like an official gateway into the sport, or like,
Yes.
is there a more, like, if somebody actually wanted to do that, is there a way that they should do it and not just jump on barbed wire in the backyard because they think it's cool?
don't jump on barbed wire in a backyard. It's not cool.
It's not
No,
cool.
seriously.
It's not.
No, it's not cool. But I was getting color in the backyard at 16 and on mattresses. And I wish I had, I mean, I'm talking about VHS cameras in 89. I graduated high school in 91, started in 92. So I'm talking like there's got to be 89 VHS footage of me posing as Ric Flair with my father's smoking robe that I painted Nature Boy on the back, right? And doing it on mattresses, getting color, doing the whole deal. Cause you know, right? You know the deal.
Yep.
And you love it. And it actually helped me, I think, because when I went to the Hart Brothers, by the way. I trained in Calgary, Alberta, Canada by Brett and Owen's family. Keith Hart had a wrestling camp up there, and that's who I trained with. Natty Neidhart's family, the whole thing, the whole Hart family. That's where I trained. And like when I got there, I already knew how to work, bro. Cause like to me, like you watch it, you know if you're good, you know how to do that stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You kind of can see it. And I was a good copycat. I was a good, like, I'm not saying I was original because I wasn't, but I was a good copycat. And I could copy, like, okay, these are what my favorite guys are doing. And I was, trying to be Flair, trying to be Shawn. And so it was, yeah, it was a great time. That was awesome stuff.
Can you add any credence to the story I heard recently from Jake the Snake, where he was hanging out with Brett and Stu Hart showed up and there was an argument about sleeper holds, and he proceeded to just put like 7 sleeper holds on Brett and knock him out and slap him and wake him up and keep doing it. Did you ever get to see anything crazy like that in your travels? No.
I personally, I did not. But all fairness though, too, when I was there, Stu was very old and was not around. It was more Keith Hart, which was the middle brother. He's a firefighter now, or was. But it wasn't even Owen or Brett. It was Keith Hart, and Bruce Hart. So yeah, it wasn't like that, and not that I saw, at least. I don't want to disrespect anybody, but no, I never saw that for real. Shoot, never saw that.
I had to ask. I couldn't help myself.
Yeah, that's cool. It's totally cool. It's reasonable.
They were just practicing sleeper holds.
Bro, I tell you one thing though, they beat. Again, I almost said the F-bomb. They beat the hell out of us though. They would really they would make you take an insane amount of bumps on the mat. They would make you run a couple miles a day, do 500 squats, 500 not in a row, but like throughout the day. You got to do 500 push-ups, 500 squats, and like do this hard-ass training, like to even get to graduating to learning about holds or how to work. So that was very real. That was very real. It was intense. But I think that it was more of a mental test that they were doing to see if you could handle the toughness of the business than I thought it was like actually. I mean, I'm sure it helps. Yeah, you're doing physical fitness, but like you really want to put somebody through all that. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like, a little weird, but it's what it is. It's what it is.
So
I'm being as honest as I can, dog. I'm being as real as I can.
I'm loving
I think I know the answer to this question, but between ECW and WWF, which locker room was the craziest after shows or during shows at that point? Which one would be?
Okay, it's not going to be obvious, believe it or not. I had more craziness in the WWE than I did in ECW, and I'll tell you why, and I'll explain, and I will go into detail, and you'll pop. Trust me. In ECW, I was so concentrated on being the best I could be. I was sober. I was stone cold sober. Seriously, like I maybe a little bit of once in a while, but not all the time. I just wanted to be the best. When I got over to WWE in like when did DCW go under? 2000, 2001?
Mhm.
When I was doing X Factor with Pac,
Uh-huh.
remember that tag team,
Yep.
that shitty tag team? When we were doing that, I was literally going in the locker room, turning on the hot shower in the WWE locker room. I'm at the Staples Center, hitting in the locker room.
Holy moly.
Swear to God is my witness. My kids died today. That's the truth.
Holy sh-
And I got more to say, but there's other people involved that I won't bring into the conversation.
Nay. Let's save that for the Patreon.
Yeah, we'll save that for the Patreon, Jeff Hardy. But anyways, we were doing wild shit back then, bro. And now I'm embarrassed of that today. I mean, I've been clean. I don't with anything like please. But back then I was wild and I was out of my mind.
Hmm.
It was a wild time, dude. Not a good time. Very bad time.
Absolutely. Yep. I'm the same way.
Very
I've been
bad.
clean. I've been clean for 6 years now, so I get you
I
on
haven't
that.
been
Yeah.
clean that long, but I'm doing good.
One day at a
Good.
time, brother. One day at a
That's
time,
all you
man.
can do. That's all you can do.
Good.
One day at a time.
Kudos.
It's awesome,
Again,
man.
kudos to you both
Awesome.
on your journey, honestly. So
Thank you.
I'm glad that we can talk about it here. I'm glad you guys are
Yeah,
able to.
it's funny stories, and I think it can help the podcast. Like, I just don't want to see that like the main thing.
No.
Right. No. Of course
Because
not.
that'll kill me. Like, tease it maybe.
Yeah, no.
I don't want any heat. I got to work somehow.
Well, Justin, don't worry. It luckily for you, we have something to take care of any possible heat coming your way. And Patty,
No,
has been
you know what I
really
mean.
good.
I like to be real. I like to tell the truth. That's when the good stuff happens.
Absolutely.
When you're really talking and you're having a good time and you feel comfortable, that's when the good stuff comes out. And that's when you have memorable moments, not some, generic thing,
Yep.
And I don't share this with a lot of people. We're just having a good time. That's all.
Mm-hmm. Well, you better
That's
get
all.
real comfortable, sir, because it's about that
Uh-oh.
time. Patty.
Uh-oh.
Patty knows what time it is. Patty, help me out.
Matt lives, baby.
Oh, it is about that time. Thank you. And as a matter of fact, the content manager is here. But while he's here, content manager, if you will, please cue the music. Oh, one. That's gonna come back and haunt somebody. No, they're quick. They're quick. Easy one goes bye-bye. And we're back. Ooh, Justin. All right, I have 3. These are my little personal questions here, so I'm excited to ask you. This first one I've been sitting on for a while, so I couldn't even wait. So I need to hear, if you have any, please do share some of your favorite New Jack stories or moments.
God, I don't have a lot, believe it or not. Jack was always super cool, but I didn't really hang with him. It's so funny. And especially, like I said earlier, like in ECW, I was so hyper focused on being like kind of straight and narrow and being focused on my craft. I didn't mess with anybody doing debauchery.
Mm-hmm.
But Jack was such a good dude. But I don't have any. I'm sorry, I don't have anything on Jack. And he's gone too. It's not like he could beat me up. So I would tell you, I just don't have anything. Not like that.
I love it.
Again, I'm not trying to be funny.
All right.
don't
Then
have anything.
I'll make a hard pivot, because my assumption had been if you had been running with him that you would have had
No,
some wild stories. But
well, okay, well,
who do you have some stories about that?
There's one. Wait. Let me travel back.
Ooh.
There's one, but it's not that funny. We were just we were on the road in Florida for indie shows, and we ended up pivoting and doing a whole week.
Oh,
But it's not a good story because there's nothing to it. There's just me and him going to the hood and smoking it as we're driving. So it's more of a horror story than a fun story. That's all I got. Please leave it alone. That's all I got. But that's true. It was in Tampa. I think Tampa to Orlando. That's what the deal was.
Oh, I know he got out of jail in Florida and then didn't go back. He made some sort of promise to wrestle and it never went back. So,
God bless.
oh,
God
all right.
bless the
So
system.
I'll make a pivot here though. All right. So in the ECW locker room, because again, ECW is just known for its lore, just hardcore, right? So with that said, who in the back was an actual tough guy? Like who was someone that you
Oh,
were like, nope,
now that you probably won't see it. Jack Victory.
Hmm.
Jack Victory was a tough son of a bitch. He could beat somebody's ass. Jack Victory and God, who? Believe it or not, dude, we were. Wow, I'm gonna get myself in trouble. There weren't that many tough guys. Believe it or not, we just had the persona, so we didn't have to really fight. You know what I'm
that
saying?
makes sense.
Seriously though, I'm
That makes
being dead serious. Big Dudley was definitely tough. But that's it. Like, not that I know. Again,
What
I
about
was a
Spike
married man. I
Dudley?
was married in ECW, so I was going home to mama with mama. I wasn't, you know what I mean? I wasn't hanging out, so I didn't. But I would say Big Dudley definitely and Jack Victory for sure, because he was a tough son of a bitch.
Okay.
And I know he doesn't come across as that, but there's some stuff about Jack Victory kicking people's butts, in territories back from the UWF, like Bill Watts era. So
Oh,
he was a
wow.
tough dude. Yeah, he was a tough dude.
Okay. So again, this one, if you don't have any answers, that's fine. But I learned something new last week that blew my mind about wrestling. So with that said, last week we had a special guest. We had on Jim Starr, aka Laser from American Gladiators, and I'd asked
Okay.
him, seeing as how they were so big during the 80s and the 90s, had they ever run into anybody or done anything with wrestlers along the way? And he had said that Vince had gone to him and Tower and proposed that if they had come to the WWF, he would have made them tag champions. Tower said yes. Laser said no, because he, being the athlete that he was not able to deal with someone telling him when he could win and lose. Is there any obscure wrestling fact like that that maybe the general public doesn't? That is like, we almost got this guy to come, or this guy almost got the belt, but he did
Yeah.
something stupid, or
Not really. No, not like that. I never heard that one. Let me think. Jeez, that's a loaded question. But no, not that I know of. I mean, everything was dude, with wrestlers, it's just like telling and I mean this with respect, like telling your girlfriend, like it's just gonna get out the minute you say it to somebody. I never heard it from anybody. I never heard anything really. So I do know that Vince in the especially late 80s, early 90s preferred jacked up dudes. So maybe there's some truth to that,
yep.
but I really have no authority to kind of talk on that. I really don't know. I really don't know.
I asked because again,
Yeah,
like
no, I get it.
Dark Side of the Ring, right? Touching on like the plane
No, I
ride
get
from
it.
hell,
Yeah,
like
100%.
stories you have heard for a long time, but now you got it, or ones you'd never heard, but then it's like, wow, what a trajectory that could have
Right.
been.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I totally understand.
Yep.
100%.
Beautiful. And last but not least, I don't have a card for it, but I want to know this might be biased based on who you trained with. Montreal Screwjob. Who you going with, Sean or Brett?
Oh, that was a work, dude. That was a work from day one. I know for a
Really?
fact that was a work from day one. I can't go into detail, but I know for a fact that was a well orchestrated work, and that was the start. If you really look at it and do your math, and I'm not the only person that said this. Many people have. It's the start to what happened in going into the Attitude Era and the reality of wrestling kind of stuff. Again, I was, dude, put it this way. In 2000, I went to Shawn Michaels Wrestling Academy and wrestled when I was ECW champion. I wrestled for him for free, stayed at his house for a week, helped train some of his guys. Lance Cade was one of them. Brian Danielson was also in said camp. And Shawn and I knew a lot about one another, and that was the vibe I got. So it was all a work. That's me.
I
The
like
biggest
it.
work in the business, brother. That's
Wow.
me. That's me. That's just me. And my vibes of what people have told me and people that were on the ground. You
So
know.
there's
But
no
again,
real
who knows if they're
animosity there.
I could be being worked myself. Who knows? I mean, I don't want to get into that psychosis of, am I being worked, brother?
Dream inside a
Fuck.
dream inside a dream inside a dream. Yeah,
Dude,
no, that's
yeah, screw that. To me, it was, I know what I know, and that's good. So
good answer though. See, that's what I'm looking for. I was not expecting that.
yeah,
to be truthful. That's
dude. I'm telling you, I'm easy. I'm good.
Yep.
I'm very easy.
Great answer. Gentlemen, do you have anything else you would like to ask our special guest before we sign off for the night?
I think we covered everything on my part. I mean, we was hitting it on the head there.
Cool.
I'm loving it.
Awesome.
Well,
It was
Sorry that
awesome.
the video wasn't as good because I look like garbage right now, but sorry.
Listen, you're not in a freezer. You're not using COVID internet. You're doing great, sir. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, when I
Right on,
when I
dude.
put this out, you'll be
We're
crystal
good.
clear.
We're good.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are the Clash of Conferences. And again, if you are interested in joining us, we are interested in having you. You can hit us up on any of the major social medias. We have them all. Come hit us up. Again, it would be easier for me to tell you what we don't have, but it sounds like we already have them all, so I can't do that. So there you go. And with that said, we will be back next week with another special guest. Thus concluding our episodes, gentlemen. And as we all know, it's time for that dumb So thank you. Have a good night. Justin, thank you for being
Thank
our
you,
guest.
Justin.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Boom, boom, boom.